I greet you all in Jesus' mighty name. This morning I want to share with you out of the book of Matthew chapter 21 from verse 28. This is what Jesus says. This is a parable that Jesus was telling his disciples. He says, "But what do you think? A man had two sons, and he came to the first and said, 'Son, go work today in my vineyard.' Verse 29, he answered and said, 'I will not.' But afterward he regretted it and went. Verse 30. Then he came to the second and said, likewise. And he answered and said, 'I go, sir.' But he did not. He did not go. Verse 31. Which of the two did the will of his father? They said to him, the first. We go to Matthew chapter 7 and verse 21. Jesus speaking again. He says, 'Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father in heaven.'" Luke chapter 6:46, Jesus speaking again. "But why do you call me Lord, Lord, and not do the things which I say?" 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 12 says, "But above all, my brethren, do not swear either by heaven or by earth or with any other oath, but let your yes be yes and your no, no, lest you fall into judgment." My brother, my sister, we have to do the will of the Father. Jesus says, "Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father which is in heaven." Here's these two sons, my brother and my sister. The father went to the first and said, "Go and work in my vineyard." But he said, "I will not go." But afterward he regretted it and he went. And the second son said, "I will go," but he did not go. My brother, my sister, the first son is the one who did the will of the Father. Though he said no, he will not. He regretted it afterward and he went, my brother and my sister. Let your yes be yes and your no, no, lest you fall into judgment. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father in heaven. We have to do the will of the Father. Why are you calling Jesus Lord, Lord, and not doing what he says? My brother, my sister, you cannot call him Lord, Lord, unless you do the will of the Father, unless you're going to obey the word of the Lord. You cannot call him Lord, Lord, because many people are calling him Lord, Lord, and not doing the will of the Father, not doing what he says. My brother, my sister, let us be the first son. Let us do the will of the Father and let us obey what he says.